What is the subject this week? I forgot. The 3, 2, 1.
Check the Ripper, or chill the Ripper, or whatever you want to call him.
Just the Rippers, all the Rippers, Mrs. and Mr. Ripper.
Yes,
So
exactly.
we thought we'd do who suggested it? I forget.
Choco, I think, suggested it.
Choco suggested. Okay, so thank you, Choco. But basically, after this studying Jack the Ripper for about a couple of days, just like looking for anything I could get, what I realized is there's not enough shit on anything that's not like, basically 300 years worth of history. Like when you have to look for stuff that's like, I don't know, how many days did he activate?
How many
He was
days did it
active.
activate?
He was like, he or she or whoever they are, like weren't active for like 30 years or 100 years. They're doing their
Yeah.
thing for like a couple of days and stuff. But yeah, point
Yeah,
is,
I thought he
so
would
yeah,
have been more active with how popular he is.
yeah,
But
you
all
you
in
think you
all,
think
it
there'd be more,
wasn't that bad. There's been worse people.
right? But yeah, so most of our thing is going to be happening in London. Most of the thing happens in London. So what I feel is that London is just a meme city that is created by the meme gods, and the goal of it is to give birth to all the weirdest shit and memes. So not only did whoever, like the meme gods, I guess we're gonna call them the meme gods, the history meme gods. Not only did they decide that the city must be purged by fire in the year 1666. That's a good year, right? Beautiful number right there.
Beautiful number.
Beautiful number. Very,
Fitting number.
expressive, fitting number. But also because some boy was baking some bread. Boy baking bread. BBB. There we go. 1666. All the things.
BBB.
BBBs. They also decided that the murderous lunatic should be the next fad. So in 1888, I like this a
Another
lot.
nice number.
Another nice number. I don't know what happened in 1777. Did anything happen in
What
1777?
happened
If
in
you know, let us know.
1999?
What happened in 1999?
This
London has
is
been a cesspool since the Romans had to retreat from Britain. I mean, look. But yeah, that's exactly what happened in 1888. A motherfucker decided he'd become, or she would become, the next big thing.
who knows?
5 mutilated female bodies were found, and they were pinned to Jack the Ripper, but more were assumed to have been killed. So our story is about Jack the Ripper. And there are 5 canonical, as they're called, canonical deaths of 5 women, with about a potential of 11 other, total, I think. I think it's total, right? Not other, just total is 11. So apparently there might have been about 11
There might have been
deaths.
more,
It
but
might have
they
been, but
aren't
there's
sure.
probably a couple of hundred. Because like they only really like attributed some things to him, but basically that area where he was killing in
Mm-hmm.
was supposed to be like just a fucking shit show. Like people were dying
Yeah.
left, right, and center. Everyone was
A
like
cesspit of
either a
murder.
yeah, everyone was either a prostitute, an immigrant, or a combination of both.
And back in the day, it wasn't illegal to be a prostitute as well.
It
Like,
was illegal,
if you.
but it wasn't. So you're right.
Yeah,
Like the cops didn't give a shit. There's like a little bit of a difference there, I guess, but it was illegal technically, which is kind of weird because
technically, but I
it's
don't think they really
1888.
did anything against it.
Nobody did shit unless, like, apparently nobody did shit unless they actually caused trouble. So if they
Yeah,
caused trouble, yeah,
then it's
the,
illegal.
the, the cops or the customers probably, like, you wouldn't
Yeah,
like
probably. They were like,
there's
you're not allowed to do it, but go suck my dick.
it's legal to be a prostitute here in Japan. So if Twitch fails next 6, you can come here. Look, I'm there already. What can I say?
Is that
My draw game is very good. But yeah, there are studies trying to pin the murders on a Polish barber living in
Why?
in London. Like I don't know. Whenever I hear Polish and British, like this is just even more of a meme because there's like so many Polish people in the whole of Britain, and the poor people are always getting the shit. Like
Yeah.
whenever the Scots come each other, like, Polish people do all the jobs that nobody else want to do. They do the thing, the plumbing thing and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I am vampire, blood. But yeah, there was a bad accent.
Yeah.
But yeah, there have been forensic tests, which basically means there's people with scientist degrees and shit like
Mm-hmm.
that tried to determine the killer, and apparently so far, in one case, it was like they stopped on one specific case. His name is Aaron Kosminski. and it came like the information basically comes from the fact that there was DNA gathered from the barber's towel. He was a barber, right? That supposedly had the blood of one of the victims. The blood was
Okay.
compared to the living relatives of one of the murdered women. The best part about this that I personally never knew is that Jack apparently was just another drama hungry queen and wanted attention because after his murder of Marianne Nichols, which is I think the first
What did he
mademoiselle,
do?
the absolute mad lad sent a letter called Dear Boss. So he wrote a letter. This potential dude called Jack the Ripperino, sent a letter to a news agency, to the Central News Agency. I think Kato actually found that. I just saw that it's a
Yeah.
news agency. It's called Dear Boss, and he wanted to mock the authorities. Basically, if you go into any type of information about like any type of thing studying Jack the Ripper, what you find out is that he kind of was just like this like crazy motherfucker that just wanted to make fun of people, but
Yeah.
also kill people, and
He's
also
like
potentially fought.
he's like an evil meme lord of
The evil
1888.
meme lord of 1888. That's what his real name should be. The
And he's
evil
like,
meme lord.
haha, I killed someone. Haha, read my letter. Make me famous, bitch.
Kind of, yeah. So it sounds like basically a kid with a knife and too much free time. Also, very big libido. We'll get to that later. Here's the first letter, and Kato's
Okay.
gonna look into it. Also,
I-
keep in mind this letter is written in very. I has a lot of broken stuff in it, so just try your best. Like if
I
Kato
will
fucks
try
up,
my
it's not
best to
her.
pronounce this.
It's not her. It's legit just a fucking.
He wrote it like this.
Yeah, he wrote it.
I've
like
got
this.
the letter right here. The first part, and then there's also a second part of the
It's
letter.
not written in blood. If anyone's curious, it's
He
written
tried to write it in blood,
Yep.
but
He
it
failed.
got too thick to write with.
Yeah, he didn't write
So
it.
it took too long to write it. So he used some red ink to be extra dramatic, you know?
Also, I read some of those letters, and some of the words are changed slightly in the letters on like digitally, right? Like the stuff that you read might have something changed because they're like, oh, this is what he sort of wanted to say, but like
Okay.
worded differently.
It's difficult to read for you guys, so I'll do my best to read it out loud. Dear boss, I keep on hearing the police have caught me, but they won't fix me just yet. I have laughed when they look so clever and talk about being on the right track. That joke about leather apron gave me real fits. I am down on horse and I shan't quit ripping them till I do get buckled. Grand work the last job was. I gave the lady no time to squeal. How can they catch me now? I love my work. I want to start again. You will soon hear of me with my funny little games. I saved some of the proper red stuff in a ginger beer bottle of the last job to write with, but it went thick like glue and I can't use it. Red ink is fit enough, I hope. Ha ha. The next job I do, I shall clip the lady's ears off and send to the police officers. Just for jolly, wouldn't you? Keep this leather bag till I do a bit more work, then give it out straight. My knife's so nice and sharp. I want to get to work right away if I get the chance. Good luck. Yours truly, Jack the Ripper. Don't mind me giving the trade name. P.S. Wasn't good enough to post this before I got all the red ink off my hands, curse it. No luck yet. They say I'm a doctor now. Haha.
You read it in such a sexy way. I think most of it is more of like a, you know, like the dude's basically like a pirate type dude, and he's like,
Haha. I killed
Arr.
someone. Catch me now.
But yeah, no, that's that was basically what they're what do they talk about in here? Just so we sort of describe this. So Clement talks if your police caught me, but they won't fix me just yet. I have loved when they look so clever and talk about being on the right. So yeah, they basically and yeah, definitely go ask anything you want for sure. They basically talked about any other source that you look into Jack the Ripper. They talk a lot about how there were up to I think like 1,000 letters and stuff like that. Some sources say like 700. Some sources I've seen say 800, 900, and 1,000. So somewhere between 1,000, basically 700 to 1,000 letters have been sent to news articles, news journalists, news whatever agencies that have basically use them to propagate themselves, like to make themselves more famous and be like, yo, we got the next like Jack the Ripper letter, whilst most of them were fake.
Yeah, a lot of people just wanted notoriety of it.
Yeah, exactly. Some people just want the notoriety. They wanted to be infamous or famous or something, and most of them were fake. Most of them are fake. A lot of them like didn't even help with the like research and stuff like that. So yeah, in this case, like I guess they would release them, they would publicize them, and he'd read them and be like, "Yo, this is like so funny to see how they think I'm a
Yeah.
doctor because apparently I have medical degree of some sort, right? Because apparently he cut the organs in such a way where like mostly only
Such
doctors would be able to
fine cuts. Such
find
good
cuts.
cuts.
My question, honestly, I haven't written this, but my question is kind of like, is he that good or are they just that bad at this shit? Because
It is
like
1888
it is
though.
1888.
How much
People
did they
don't know what
know?
good or bad is. Like maybe that upper echelons do, but everyone else, like any officer, would be like, "Oh yeah, this is definitely like a good. See how he cut that there. Like that's only like only a scientist could do
Maybe
shit
he
like that."
has done so many other murders where he cut up the body real bad that it was like, oh shit, I can't show this to people.
Honestly, like with everything else, to me it feels like it's just another one of those situations where people blow it out of proportions. Look at how he wrote this. Like, also let's go into another thing and we'll get back to how he wrote it. So there's another letter that is assumed to be a legit thing, and this is one. This one is there's technically three letters supposed to be
Three that they
uh
really think are actually from him.
actually his. Yeah. None of which have survived in the actual physical form. Most of these were taken pictures of.
Yeah. We
So
got the third one right here.
I think it's the third one, right?
Yeah.
So who am I?
The second one, sorry.
Second one, I think. Yeah, like this looks like a piece of shit, right? If you look at it, like it looks like someone just like got drunk and barely like knew what to write.
Yeah.
Maybe they were told what to write. So there's more shit to be discussed here at this point. So go
I
for
feel
it.
like
If
the
you want to
writing
mention,
is very different as well. This is like so clean, the first
I want to
one.
mention something about that as well. I definitely want to mention there. Yeah, go for
Okay,
this one as well.
I'll read. So,
So
from hell, Mr. Lusk. Sir, I sent you half the kidney I took from from one woman, preserved it for you. To the piece I fried and ate, it was very nice. I may send you the bloody knife that took it out if you only wait a while longer. Signed, Catch me when you can, Mr. Lusk.
So first of all, the first letter is like generally is known as the dear boss letter. This one is the second one, right?
Yeah.
Where's the third one? I don't remember.
Second.
I think this is the second one, right? So this one is known as From Hell, which is also a movie starring Johnny Depp. Exactly about the same thing, about Jack the Ripper, I think. And the thing about this one is the way he writes this is very different.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is the proper way to write this back in the day. Mister is written with an H in between. Kidney has no Y at the end. Maybe that's the correct way. Preserved is spelled with grammatical mistakes. Prasarvid. So
yeah. I had to do a double take there and be like, how do I say this?
some of these things are definitely like incorrect. Like people have discussed this. They're legit incorrect.
Mm-hmm.
And
Like
it's
the
not only
writer
just like,
wasn't a schooled person.
yeah. So again, my dad's a former prosecutor. We discussed this because he actually saw a Russian documentary on this thing, and basically what the Russians like recently, right? And basically what the Russians thought about it mostly is that he's fake as fuck because this is fake as fuck boy because this is supposed to be just what we discussed that a lot of people just basically pinned the murders on one person when it wasn't one person. It was supposedly just like a lot of different murders that were similar, and people just like tried to act together as in like to like make this a big meme, which even today there's like a lot of shit like that. Like there's stuff where a lot of people get involved and then like big things can happen, good or bad, doesn't have to be good specifically, could be murders, could be other stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is the second letter, and yeah, the dude tried to write in blood, but the blood got too thick, which is kind of funny. The letter is written in a very different way. Like you can show them maybe if you want how it looks. How do you call this? The calligraphy of it,
yeah,
which is technically
the way it
sometimes
was
used.
written.
Yeah, like sometimes it's actually used as a way to catch bandits, criminals, and murderers, whatever. And my thought on it is that if he might have actually at some point, like this is, I don't think I've seen this anywhere, this theory anywhere, but again, most of this is theory. even to this day, they have information on the case, this old case that they had, because they did open a case, obviously. Both the
Obviously.
metropolitan and regional police things were on it, but they did not share a lot of stuff. But that's not the point. Point is, even today there is a Choco. How do I say it?
Choco.
Leet man. Choco. This is actually was a very interesting thing to study, to look into. So
Yeah.
you better fucking watch this.
You better look back on YouTube and see how we discussed.
But it was fun. It was definitely a fun one. So good suggestion. But yeah, basically, a dude tried to look into it. Right. We'll get to that point as well later. But he was refused access for various other reasons. We'll mention the reasons later. And like, there's barely any fucking like evidence and stuff on the actual thing. So this whole like everything we know about him might just be fake shit. So the Russians might be onto something, but you know the Russians are always onto something. But the point was that he might have gotten caught before, actually. So it's not that he got caught and they knew who he was. He might have gotten caught for like something else.
And they didn't realize it was him.
And they didn't realize it was him. Maybe they took some of these, like maybe they asked him to write something because, like, if you work as a detective, as a, you know, anything related to this sort of stuff, you might end up being like we don't have all of the things where they're like, that did look suspicious. Like we don't know all of these like brain like moments that where the officers, prosecutors, and detectives had where they're like, there's a lot of people that go in and out. They might have been involved in this thing, if not directly. Maybe they're an accomplice and stuff like that. So they might have made them write stuff. They might have made them, you know, alibis, all that shit. Like a lot of stuff might have been done to try and stop this. And they, you know, the dude Jack the Ripper might have known this because it, you know, he at least knows how to write. He might have had a plan and maybe used it.
Maybe used it.
If that is legit his letter, which the reason why people think it's his letter is because in both cases he told them something really. I forget what.
Yeah, he did. Like in the first one, I think he said, wasn't the first one they was gonna take an ear off? I shall clip the lady's ear off and send to the police officers just for jolly, wouldn't you? So he said he was gonna cut someone's ear off, and then after that, the next body actually missed their ear and it got sent to the police.
The police, I don't think, I'm not sure if they published this, so it sounds like there would have been a situation where everyone was like, okay, so the next victim that I kill, like imagine 3 other people are like, okay, so the cops released the letter, and the letter it says that I'm gonna rip the ear off, so I will also have to rip the ear off. So any new bodies that are found, there might be no ears, but the thing is, like, they basically put one.
I would hope they didn't publish the letter before that actually happened.
I don't think they published the letter. That's why this is like one of the legit
and that's
ones.
how they know this is a legit letter.
And the other one was the kidney, and he said he ate the kidney.
He ate the kidney, but also preserved some for them.
That's so fucked up. That's so fucked up. That's like, oh,
no, kidney, human kidney. Who wants a piece? Yeah, no thanks. I'll pass on that, fam.
I just feel bad even thinking about that. The dude ate. If he's not lying, the dude ate a kidney. Human kidney, that is.
Ugh. I mean, honestly, some people are into that.
Yeah, no, some people.
No thanks, like, but.
Again, we talked about the cannibalism episode. Go check that on Kato's YouTube, because there are people that we didn't even discuss the weirdos out there that are actually into eating. You know, for
some people want to be eaten. Some people want to eat other people.
Shit.
I mean, I wasn't saying that as a kink away, but.
I mean, you're not wrong. There's literally like
but there's people that actually want it, and it's like, what the fuck?
There's people that actually want to like imagine stuff like being devoured and stuff. Like, what's it called? Vor?
I don't know what it's called, but I've heard of cases where people actually want to be eaten by someone else.
Everything related to bodies is disgusting. Don't
Google
it. Obviously. I'm sorry. Yeah. Honestly, I think at this point, this fucker was just tired or drunk as hell, trying to employ someone else. That's what my thing was. Like the idea when he was writing the letters, he was either tired, he was either drunk, or he hired someone else because he's like, I don't want to get fucking caught. I don't want to get caught.
Yeah.
Dude, would you want to get caught? I don't think you want to get caught.
Nah, he just wanted to play with the police. I feel like
That's so fast. Oh my god. basically he didn't want this to be pinned to him, so he had to change. Maybe he had to change his stuff again. Maybe he was like, you never know. The dude could have been in enforcement, law enforcement, could have been in
He
medical
could have been
sphere.
a police officer himself. And like there were people that said they like people that saw things happen and said to the police like, "Oh, I saw this and that." But like even those people could have been him. You don't know.
I never even thought about that.
He could have.
Imagine like
He could have been like, "Hey, I was there at where they were murdered. Like someone ran away. It looked like this and that." Could have been him that said he looked like this and that.
Just so we know,
how do they know?
There's a legit thing in the world right now where some people involved in this sphere, like the law enforcement, stuff like that, detectives, forensic experts, and stuff like that, they consider themselves ripperologists. Sounds fun, right?
I'm gonna put that in my bio now. I'm a ripperologist.
I mean, you could. You're an amateur ripperologist. There you go. Maybe, but yeah. The thing that we discussed is that maybe he got caught once or twice before. You never know. Like there's times there. Speaking of Jack the Ripper, we probably should mention the fact that there's many people in the world that are similar to this, right? Like there were cases before him, there were cases after, there's cases today. In Russia, there was a similar killer. I forget his name.
People hate horse.
Yeah. Wait, what? Yeah, people like to kill prostitutes and stuff like that for some reason, especially in movies. But the point is, in Russia, they once almost caught the most famous Russian serial killer, but they let him go like twice.
Why?
Because he wasn't like supposed to be. He couldn't be a killer. He's a member.
Should we do a podcast on him?
Oh my god, no. Oh god, probably. If we do a podcast, we should just do one on just like all of the murderers. Like honestly, we should have probably involved more. It's just gonna take a while. We'll see. We'll look into it. I think that dude's called Chikatilo. I don't remember. Probably Chikatilo. And he's probably the most famous killer in the USSR. And yeah, the dude like got released twice, and he killed like kids, lots of them as well, and was married I think at one point too. So yeah, it was weird. He was a teacher too. So
imagine finding out your husband is a serial killer.
Imagine finding out you're the serial killer.
Plot twist. I mean, then you have mental issues if you don't know that you're the killer.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, there was a dude that I was told on stream. There's apparently like a Russian serial killer that was recently uncovered. The dude ended up like, legit story. I looked it up as well. He basically ended up cutting someone into pieces and trying to get rid of the body, and he fell next to the bank of the river and couldn't get out. So he waited there in like the cold, and like the cops found him eventually. But they also found him next to like the body parts. So they like realized who he was, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they caught him. But the thing was, he was a university teacher, and the dude apparently might not even have gone to prison, or might not go to prison, because like he's got like typical Russian fashion, like corrupt system where like his friend is like in the army or some shit. Great system, right? So there's a lot of cases like these with what's it called, with murderers, serial killers. So if you think it's only Jack the Ripper that did shit like this, there's people that killed like 10 times more than him.
Yeah, that's not my thing. Like Jack the Ripper is so famous.
It's famous because he's
you
British,
would think he had way more murders than just those 5 that are confirmed.
I didn't write this here, and I don't think you have it there as well, but it's assumed, like, there's so many people that were assumed to be Jack the Ripper, and one of them is assumed to be an Irish dude, I think, from Ireland, right? For some random like information in there, it's like might have been a homosexual, and ended up in the US afterwards. So if this is legit, if something like this, I mean, it could be. If he wasn't doing anything more in London, maybe he did something else somewhere else. Maybe he left.
Because he suddenly stopped killing people, didn't he?
Yeah, you don't suddenly just go from like.
Yeah, I want to kill people, everyone.
Yeah, like 5 murders within the autumn. That like he killed 5 people within 31st of August to like, I don't know, something October. Like they gave it a silly name as well, like the autumn of ripping farts or something. I don't know. It's something like that. Something.
I had no idea.
The Ripper spring autumn something. I don't know. They gave it a silly name because it's like it happened all within like last day of summer, and a couple of months into autumn. But yeah, besides that, uh, there's so much shit we can go down. Like you can
Yeah.
go down a rabbit hole with this dude. You could get to China if you go down that big of a rabbit hole.
You can go deep in theories about Jack the Ripper.
Absolutely. There's a lot of like actual technical stuff. Smile gonna take your picture? No. There's a lot of technical stuff. There's legit scientists out there doing like body body what's it called? They're taking like liquids from like inside of your mouth from people involved with the people that were murdered. Can I
Like
post a
if they
picture on
had
YouTube?
today's technology back then, they probably would have caught him. But by now, all the evidence is pretty much gone.
Yeah, by now, like, there's nothing left. There's absolutely nothing left of the original stuff. Like, it's either like destroyed, stolen, and stuff like that. So it's out there, it's there might be just the kidneys, like one of these victims' kidney in some collector's room, and he's like
stored in a glass bowl.
Yeah. They're world's a crazy place. Let's just put it that way. But the edgiest fuckboy thing. We talked about how edgy he was. Yeah, like he was trying to, like, the letter though. If you just look into the letter, he seemed so edgy. He does seem like a very edgy person.
He is an edgy person.
Yes, Jack the Ripper kind of gave himself the name in one of these letters. Otherwise, he had more names given to him by the public and authorities. Even Kata gave him a nickname. Kata, what was your nickname you gave him?
Oh shit, what was the nickname I gave him? Little Jackie the Ripper?
Jackie the Rippie. I like it.
Jackie the Rippie, yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of E's and P's and pies, I guess, so it's cute. I like it.
Jackie
But yeah, the names other people gave him, by public authorities, by just people on the scene and stuff like that, were also the Whitechapel murderer, because that's where it mostly happened, in the Whitechapel.
That's the area where it happened.
What was that?
That was the area, the Whitechapel.
Exactly. Leather Apron. I was like, Leatherface or what? And he's like, no, Leather Apron. And Saucy Jack.
Saucy Jack, really?
Saucy Jack. Yes.
They called him Saucy Jack.
Not sausage, Saucy.
Saucy Jack.
Saucy Jack.
That's gonna be my next porn name.
Whenever you discuss Jack the Ripper, please only call him Saucy Jack.
Saucy Jack.
This is the most British thing to, like, this is, I'm assuming, what the British people called him, because there was a lot of Polish and Russian people there as well. But I'm assuming the Brits are like Saucy Jack, governor. I don't know. Look,
governor.
But yeah, Saucy Jack to me just sounds like a ye olden porn name. Like he was like a porn actor of some sort. I mean, he was like, there was a lot of prostitution in that area. Maybe he was a prostitute as well. You never know.
Maybe he was just getting rid of the competition.
Maybe he was a manho, or maybe he was just a
maybe
woman.
It was a woman.
I mean, what, you're assuming that men can't be prostitutes? Wow.
No, but if he's getting rid of the competition.
Oh my god, did you just solve Jack the Ripper?
Just solved it. He's just getting rid of the competition.
It was actually
it was like a salty bitch. I was like, oh no, honey, you didn't just steal my client.
There's actually information on that shit later on, which might actually correlate to what she just said there. You should be a detective. Fuck this.
I am a detective.
But yeah, the Leather Apron just sounds like a more British Leatherface.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that is, but sure, use that if you want. I don't mind. Use anything you want. I've already had someone post a picture of me laughing at. I did look nicer in that, but yeah, there was a picture of me playing Dead by Daylight, and they're like, you know what? Let me just do a small video of Nixon reacting to my Steam profile. They like sought me down, like they found me, and then they saw the reaction, and then they put the picture and my reaction next to it, and the picture was just a dude without pants, and there was shit everywhere, right? And I just laughed at it, and he just like made a little video of me, and I'm like, this is the only video that is on YouTube that is not my video and not your channel, and is made to be, something related to me, and I'm like, I guess I'll take it. I don't know, but yeah, Saucy Jack.
Saucy little Jack.
Saucy little Jack. The apron one came from a suspect, by the way. assumed suspect that might have been a day laborer. So basically, either made clothes or some kind. I think that's what the story was. Like maybe a boot, maybe made boots or some shit, like a shoemaker or a day laborer or something along those lines. And their nickname was Leather Apron because it was assumed that it might have been him, right? So. And that's where that one came from. So it's not really his nickname; it's someone else's nickname that was assumed to be Saucy Jack or Jack the Ripper. And that place where the murders happened as well was in East London's Whitechapel district. So East London, on the east side, Whitechapel district, which is also a place where a lot of prostitutes worked and a lot of murders and fights happened. A lot. A lot of discrimination, a lot of racism, a lot of hatred. The area was mainly a place for immigrants to settle in and try to create a new life, as usually their home countries were either war-torn or just plain poor. To prove a point, a lot of Russians and Polish people came along in this period. So, and I'm not going to comment on that. I'm sorry. And the thing is, that's why it's assumed that Aaron Kosminski might have been the killer because he was a Polish immigrant that was a barber. There's assumptions that he was also a lunatic, and they also like the people that they got to how do you call this? They rounded them up for like
lineup.
The lineup, yeah. Basically, when I forgot all the words right now. I have but basically, they got a lot of people to testify, to get interrogated, to be good cop, bad cop type situation, interrogation and stuff like that. And surprisingly, a lot of those people were either lunatics or Jews.
Why?
Wait, I want to see how you. Okay, but yeah, that was I wasn't joking when I said that this period was famous for its discrimination, racism, and all that stuff. But the thing is, like for the Jews, like I'm no hatred, no offense, no nothing. It's pure history. This is legit. Like Jews are some of the unluckiest people when it comes to like being discriminated and stuff like that. Because in England itself, in London, I think they were thrown out of London at least a couple of times. And not only like Spain, I think other places as well. And yeah, they legit just like rounded up all the Jews and all the lunatics because that's two things that
Why do people hate Jews so much?
We should ask them. Probably because they had like I don't know. It's just like when they go to one place and they were in a lot of places. I don't want to get into this. We'll do that one. We'll do an episode on that one. Yeah, we have no hatred towards Jewish people, but it's crazy. They got a lot of even in this case, they're like, yeah, Jack the Ripper is definitely a Jew or a lunatic. And again, Aaron Kosminski, which was the information that he was a killer, comes from from one of the Australian medical expert. He basically he took a swab of like I don't know what's it called.
He did forensic.
Yeah, he basically took the saliva off one of the family members of the people that is related to the first or last person murdered.
Okay.
And that because their blood was found on
his towel,
his apron, and his like barber stall, and that's like the correlation that they're making. But there is like also, or maybe no, I think it was It was his family, not the murdered person. I think it was the dude's Aaron Kosminski. So the Polish dude's family that is alive today. They took their DNA because there's like videos about how like if they know who it is, but even then those videos are like, oh, we don't actually know who the fuck it is. So that's why I really count on this as it's definitely this person.
Imagine honestly, if you find out that like your great grandfather or whatever was Jack the Ripper.
That's kind of cool at that point.
You just would start like cashing in on that. Be like, stories, family stories.
Family stories. Kids, gather up. Let Daddy tell you about that one time your great ancestor like murdered brutally 5 women within like the span of 2 months.
Knowing people, they would cash in on that.
Oh God, this is just going downhill. But yeah, the Jews and lunatics. That's where we stopped.
Yes.
I also wrote in the thing. It's like remember to mention that is a sarcastic joke. I didn't actually do. I wanted to say it's the usual suspects, like the Jews and lunatics.
Oh yeah. Sarcasm.
That's a sarcastic joke.
We don't mean that. We're not racist.
That's actually anti-Semitic. Apparently it's not. That's not racism. It's just
Is it
anti-Semitic.
not? Okay.
Basically, it's kind of in the same boat though. But yeah, there was no criminal profiling that like there is today. Like criminal profiling is basically when they like kind of like try to figure out who the fuck the person was. Like the cops do that type. They do profiles, right? And like that wasn't even a thing until like the I don't know, until like 40s, 50s. Obviously there were cases, but generally speaking, today they do it a lot compared to let's say even like 50 years ago, where like in the USSR they didn't do shit like that at all. That's why people basically like we only know of so many killers because everyone else wasn't ever like nobody ended up being locked up. And the funny part about this also is that assumptions were made who might have been the isn't type.
Thanks.
And there we go. So apparently because Kato sneezed, and I'm a superstitious person. That means the next thing I would have said is right. And the next thing I would have said is that Winston Churchill's dad is actually Jack the Ripper.
We figured it out.
We're done. I'm done. Fucking
done. It is.
Eat.
Dab on it.
I'm dabbing on it. But apparently people hate, like whenever in England someone hates someone else, they're just like, yo, your dad was probably like fucking, Jack the Ripper. Ha ha ha. So that's how I'm assuming. No, this is legit. I'm not spreading misinformation, Ryan. If you look it up, there were quote unquote shitty wannabe fake accusations that Churchill's dad was like fucking, what's his name? Jack the Ripper. And the royal family, the English royal family. Apparently, one of them was like one of the princes was also assumed to be Jack the Ripper, and it's assumed that that's why the cops never like really found out who it was.
Imagine.
They paid the cops off to be like, yo, this is literally the prince, might be the next king. You can't say who.
Imagine if it was found out that it was someone from the royal family.
It would have been like such a oh my god. It would have.
The media would have a field day.
Oh my god, they would have a good day, right?
Objection,
Your Honor.
Objection.
Also, it's assumed that even Lewis Carroll might have been Jack the Ripper. The person that wrote Alice's Adventures in Wonderland.
I was like, who the fuck is that?
Speaking about rabbit holes, there you go.
Speaking about rabbit holes.
If you were alive in that period, someone might have like. We don't have this information because it didn't get to us. But I am 100% sure people are like, look at that motherfucker, must be Jack the Ripper. Look at his,
look at his crazy fucking stories.
Yeah, look at his crazy eyes. Look at those crazy eyes. And yeah, people might have done a lot of this shit. Okay, go do the thing.
Another part of the speculation was obviously we said it earlier as well. It could not have been Jack the Ripper. It could have been Jill the Ripper. Wham! Gillette. The best time I can get.
How do you know that?
So, both modern day medical experts doing tests with swabs from the stamps and seals on some of their letters say that it could have been a female that was the killer. Hey, she could have called herself Jack the Ripper to throw the policeman off, like, hey, can't be a female, they call themselves Jack. The problem with this is when it comes to the medical aspect of it, that many letters were fake, and they don't know, like, okay, which letters were actually his letters, which ones are phonies, and the original ones were lost. So Nick said it earlier, they only have pictures of the letters, they don't have the actual letters anymore. And a lot of the evidence of the case is lost nowadays, like they don't have the actual stuff anymore. There's also a small chance it might have been a woman based on the fact that a witness reported seeing the fifth canonic victim, Mary Kelly, a few hours after she was murdered. Oh, if she was dead, how could she be alive? And the officer responsible for the investigation suggested that it was the killer running away in the clothes of Mary Kelly to avoid getting caught. And
basically the only thing that stops people from like thinking it's actually a woman is because one guy was like, "Oh no, it was just the killer trying to dress as a woman to run away." It legit could have been a woman.
The killer was just a cross-dresser.
Yeah.
Putting the clothes on to run away.
Yeah.
No way a woman can kill other women. A woman is not strong enough to kill people.
I think the cop was just cross-dressing as well. He was like,
Yeah.
I hope it's you.
So, and there's also the big debate as to whether or not the killer had any medical knowledge, since he was so clean in cutting the organs out. So they think he was so able of removing organs that they thought maybe the killer was a midwife or an abortionist who would have knowledge of the female body and anatomy. And or maybe, maybe he was just handy with a knife. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you know? I don't know. They played D&D with Jack or Jill on Baby Boat. Mr. and Mrs. Ripper. It sounds like a good joke, Sounds like a movie that we can make.
Yeah. I mean, there's already Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Might as well make
Yeah.
Mr. and Mrs. Ripper.
Just make it a porn parody or something.
The name. Did you mention the name of the person?
Yes. Just so the most likely suspect, when assuming a woman as a killer, is Mary Percy, who was convicted and hanged in 1890 for murdering her lover's wife and child, and used a method similar to the Ripper, which confuses me as to what method: the careful extraction of the insides or just stabbing the shit out of them and being like, ha! I'm gonna mail this to the police.
I mean, he kind of did the ha-ha. He literally did that.
He wrote the ha-ha.
Again, if you look at the letter, he wrote ha. Like, that does it get more edgier than that? Like,
he's a meme boy. Meme lord.
But yeah, the person assumed to have been the killer might have been called Mary Piercy, which we.
If it's a
know
woman.
a person with a name like very similar to that, and I asked them, and they're like, I don't know. Maybe I even had like a relative that was like, lunatic. I don't know, but it was super funny to be like, what? I know this. I've seen this.
I know this name. I know this person.
Right. And but yeah, she was hanged in 1890 for murdering her lover's wife and child. So she was fucking a dude, and she, I guess, just wanted the dude to just leave them, and he didn't want to or some shit. So she just went and murdered them. And
if you won't leave them, I'll take them.
Yeah. If you don't leave them, I'll go with them, and you can stay here by yourself. And someone in chat is mentioning that also there's a porn parody. Of course, there's a porn parody.
Of course, there's a porn parody.
Semen inside the bodies. There's a lot of stuff when it comes to the bodies. If you go look at them, because they were in some cases like absolutely fucking ripped to shreds. The first person like wasn't, but they still have like incisions and stuff like that. Like just like random ones, right? Like he took out parts of the organs. He took the boobies out, the thighs, like cut a lot of stuff up. But also, just fucking sorry, like painting, like you're painting, but with a knife and stuff like that. And
it's kind of fucked up, dude.
Kind of fucked up. And the last person apparently was so fucked up that the cop that found the body was like not even sure if it's a body. Like he just thought it's a pile of meat or something. Yeah, like he thought it's like, I saw a picture of it. There's actual pictures of the bodies, the victims. There were pictures taken with a ye olde camera, I think.
There are actual pictures of the bodies?
Some of the, don't show them, do not show them.
No on stream.
Look it up, if you're an adult and aren't scared about shit like that, Space Shadow wants to ask.
Check it out.
I like that little. Is that a hello or is that?
It's a hello and a what did I walk into? Looking at bodies. Why is Kato so interested in looking at these bodies?
But yeah, if you want to look at that, just Google it. You'll probably find them. The last one is just like you can't really make it out, but it's probably because like it was so disgusting. The dude didn't want to just go close enough because it was taken like from the side, and you could only really see like one leg, proper leg, and everything else just looked like a mush. Like just looked like it's just a pile of meat and like cloth thrown across it. And there was like a broken window, and that's the time when it was seen that the person that was killed, like their clothes, someone wearing their clothes was leaving the place after a couple of hours after they determined that she was dead. So basically she was dead, and after a couple of hours someone in her clothes left the premise, and that's where it was assumed that it might have been Mary Piercy. That's who the Jill the Ripper might have been, or it could have been legit just dude just dressed as in her clothes and stuff like that.
Wouldn't
But
you
this
notice if
was
it's
said,
a dude in the clothes though?
maybe it was like a feminine looking dude. Maybe it was like a more skinnier, like
Skinny
smaller, like look
bitch.
skinny
Car set pull
bitch.
tight.
I mean,
Snatch
look,
that waist.
to survive, you'll probably do a lot. So depends. But yeah, Dr. Thomas Bond.
Mm-hmm.
God, that's the name. Thomas
That
Bond.
Bond.
Mr. Bond.
Hi, Mr.
Thomas.
Bond.
Bond Thomas. But yeah, he said the following, and his report when it came to the grisly murder of Mary Jane Kelly, or Mary Kelly. That's the last murder. The whole of the surface of the abdomen and thighs were removed. The abdominal cavity emptied of its viscera, which basically means he took out the thighs, the muscle, just fucking yeeted everything there was in the abdomen, so no organs, nothing was left. The breasts were cut off, the arms were mutilated by several jagged wounds, and the face hacked beyond recognition of the features. This is a medical expert saying this, by the way. This is the dude that basically, like coroner, I guess.
Yeah.
Not really. I think it's a different situation here. But yeah, the tissues of the neck were severed all around the bone. Some of the bodies were mutilated more than others, but the last one is just supposed to be the most disgusting one, right? Where
He really went to town on that body.
Yeah, he fucking had a good time over there. So yeah, Bond also said that Jack might have suffered from nymphomania, which Wikipedia describes as an extremely frequent or suddenly increased libido. Libido, yeah, libido.
Yeah.
What? Or an increased sexual drive, if you don't know what that word means.
So it would just suddenly get so super horny that he would.
Yeah, he got super horny. That's probably where the the quote unquote semen part comes in. So he's a hentai, kind of like he probably fucked them and then raped them
and
then
killed them.
or killed and then raped. Like depend. I mean, does it even count as rape? I think it counts as
Yeah, I think it's still
necrophilia, right?
maybe necrophilia rape.
If they're dead, okay, I don't know. Maybe I should know this. Again, I studied this long. As a fake couch historian, I'm gonna count it as necrophilia. But yeah, it's assumed he killed during the nights. The streets were reportedly lit, like actually during the nights, basically early in the morning, because there was no sun, right? Like it was at the darkest, like right before sunrise and stuff like that. So, people would just find bodies all across that area.
You just wake up, walk out your door, and step on a body.
Legit, the case of the first body, like it was like two dudes going to work, and they're like, "Yo, lady, you okay?" Just like went in and like poked at her, and she was like not moving, and then they saw the neck was cut open.
Oh Jesus!
And they just went for the cops and stuff like that. So, dragon, oof. But yeah, the police barely knew what to do. In some cases, apparently they even hampered the search by destroying evidence, like washing away things written on walls that might have been written by the murderer. Like the dude might have literally like written like, "My name is this and this."
And they would have washed it off.
And the dudes were like, "Oh, it's disgusting." Like
get this off my wall.
Yeah, get this off my wall. Like some of them were super like it's legit just like some of the dumbest shit ever because people were not like very.
People were dumb back in the day.
People are dumb even today.
Yeah, even today.
Imagine what was back then. Like in many cases, it was probably horrible. Good luck, Dragon. But yeah, the thing was, you could role play. Thank you, Dragon. You could role play Jack the Ripper in GTA. But yeah, the point is, that sounds kind of fucked up. But yeah, you could play the people, the cops that should have caught Jack the Ripper. We should definitely role play that. You should,
Next time, we'll just role playing during the podcast and be like, okay, so now I'm Jack the Ripper. Oh, there's a hole there. Let's go.
Could be Jack the Ripper and Dragon could be the cop.
This is how we do our podcast from now on, role playing as if we're them.
Yeah.
Die.
I wanna throw shade on a channel I saw recently, but I already threw enough shade on them in my Discord. I won't do it here publicly, I guess. But yeah, we'd probably do a better job than them, and they're like, they invested money in it, actually, lots of it. That's not the point though. Point is, like cops wouldn't even go into those into the Whitechapel district.
Really?
Apparently, it was like supposed to be like such a like rundown, shitty place where only like the prostitutes. That was the only place they would be allowed in, and it was just like a shit show. It was just absolute shit show, and it's crazy that this thing was a thing and it happened and nothing was discovered to this day. Like there's not like there will never be an answer probably. Most good specialists on the matter say that there will never be a
Yeah.
definite answer. Unless you get like a time machine and you go. If you get a time machine, would you go back and kill Hitler, or would you go back and find out who Jack the Ripper was? I'd go back and find Jack the Ripper.
Same.
Kind of.
I don't
And
know.
like try to survive until Hitler's born.
But like the thing is, if you go back in time and you prevent Hitler from happening, who's to say something worse won't happen instead of that?
No, absolutely. I know that.
Don't mess with time.
Oh my god. Hitler
No,
was born in 89. This happened in 88. He was born in 89.
Really?
Yeah. Oh my god, Jack the Ripper is Hitler.
Maybe Jack the Ripper got a baby and it was Hitler. And it was something like, oh no, I need to groom him.
Oh no. But this time he was like, I'll do better than. Oh my god. You know
Oh
what?
no.
It's sarcasm. Don't ignore it.
This sarcasm, don't take us serious.
Yeah, take it serious. Ash said they'd go back and marry Jack. There you go. Or Jill.
Or Jill. We don't know. Could have been a woman. But to be honest, back in the day, they wouldn't believe that women were capable of killing often. So I don't know, maybe in those times they already thought women were capable, but some periods of time they would just not believe a woman capable of killing a man. Shit.
I will go back and kidnap Helen of Troy before the Troy War happened. And someone else is like, it's probably why Hitler killed the Jews. He wanted to stop Jack.
Oh no.
Oh my god. No.
Oh no. It came back on us. That we said.
It's coming back. It's coming back.
Fuck,
okay, guys,
we
next
figured it out.
Trials and turbulation of the Jewish people. No, I'm just no. That's I couldn't do that with a straight face. Like I'd be doing shitty jokes all the time. But yeah. That's everything I fucking looked up, discussed, found, theorized with my dad and other people. And it was a fun research. Nobody knows who the fuck
it that
Jack
interesting topic.
It was fun, right?
Yeah, I like discussing like murderers.
So we should at some point do the Russian one because he's a motherfucker. He's like crazy, like Ted Bundy, shit like that. Like we should.
Yeah, I like murder. I don't know why. It's fascinating. I'm not gonna kill anyone, but like hearing about she says,
she's like, you know,
this is my alibi. We say I'm not killing anyone.
Not yet.
Yet. No, but I'm fascinated by like reading and hearing about like serial killers.
You just go to any university that has like a law faculty and just like try to find the criminal law, criminology, one of those. Not criminology, that's the study of it. The other one. And just like ask the teacher if it's like okay to just go in because they have like we had actually interesting discussions in our case, and I'm sure like Western Europeans probably discuss shit like this as well during the class itself, during the lectures and stuff. So you should
just be like, hi, can I come sit in and listen to your stories?
I mean, it's there's a lot of fucking crazy stories. Like we discussed a lot. There's like women bandits, criminals in the USSR like that stole stuff. There's like serial killers, stuff like that. We mostly discuss USSR stuff and some local stuff here. So in my case, so you'd probably find even better, cooler stuff.
I don't know, but we can look into murderers.
Jack the Rippie.
Jack the Ripper, Jill the Rippie.
Gillette.
Gillette. It's the best American guy. So yeah, if anyone has any questions, ask them now. And else, this is the sixth.
Tell us shit in the comments on YouTube. Definitely like drop a comment. What do you thought about it? What do you think I missed? Me and Kata missed, or maybe what we should do next, or literally anything you guys. You know. If
you have a topic you want us to discuss, because today's topic was a suggestion by LeetChocolate.
Thank you.
He's one of my friends and viewers.
So far, people suggested pretty good stuff.
Yeah. I think Zombies was also...
that was Space Shadow?
That was Space suggestion.
Yeah. Definitely suggest stuff on YouTube as well, for sure.
And then, yeah, this is the end of our 6th episode of Bloody Mythical OwO's.